Unmute. Okay. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. Life is no longer as we know it due to this current pandemic. Some of you may be feeling scared and anxious. Others of you may be feeling very vulnerable. You watch the news and you see the devastating stories of people that have been very sick or even died. You don't want to be a victim. I understand. I'm here to tell you tonight that you are not powerless. There are plenty of things that you can do to take care of yourself. You can take steps to stay strong and healthy. Before I start to tell you about the steps, I want to talk a little bit about certain people seem to be more susceptible to this virus. Originally, it was thought that it was age, the elderly population. And while that still may be true as part of the picture, what we're finding out now is that people who have more inflammation are having more of a problem. I want to show you an illustration so I can explain, so you can understand a little bit better. Put it under view slideshow. Hold on a second here. Okay, so this is a picture of one of our human cells, and there are these certain things on the surface of the cell, and they're called ACE2 receptors. ACE2 receptors are on our heart cells, our lung cells, our gut cells, and also our kidney cells. This is a picture of the coronavirus. It has a little, what we call a spike protein that actually binds to the ACE2 receptor to get into our cells, to infect our cells. When people have more ACE2 receptors on their cells, they become more susceptible to being very sick because more of the virus can get in. Now, why would somebody have more ACE2 receptors on their cells? The answer is inflammation. When a person has inflammation in their body, the body actually upregulates the amount of ACE2 receptors because it's a protective mechanism, which is a little more complicated, I'm not going to get into, but more inflammation, more ACE2 receptors, and more coronavirus can get into your cells. Okay. So why would somebody have more, who has more inflammation? Well, we all have a propensity to have inflammation. People with diabetes, high blood pressure, lung diseases, and even people that are overweight have a propensity for more inflammation. Now, since we know we want to decrease your inflammation, I'm going to tell you two things that you can do to make that happen. The first thing I'm going to talk about is diet. I encourage you to eat well. Processed foods and sugar are very inflammatory foods. They cause inflammation in the body. Not only do they cause inflammation, but they sometimes cause us to gain weight. And when people are overweight and they have excess adipose, adipose is fat tissue around the belly, that actually produces inflammatory chemicals. Moving on to processed foods often contain plant oils, vegetable oils, corn oil, soy oil, safflower oil, and these are all omega-6 fats, and those promote inflammation in our body, as opposed to omega-3 fats, which are cold water fish, walnuts, flax seeds, chia seeds. Those are anti-inflammatory fats. Decrease your processed foods helps you to decrease omega-6s, helps you to decrease inflammation in your body. So two things, sugar and processed foods. If you haven't eliminated them yet or greatly reduced them, now is the perfect time to do that. The second thing I want to talk about is stress. Stress is the root cause of many illnesses. What causes stress? Our mind, our emotions, and our memories. These things have the ability to change our physiology. Now, what does that mean? When we have stress hormones running through our body, it actually creates inflammation, and it also suppresses the immune system. Now, let me tell you, I know exactly about this. When I gave my first Toastmaster speech, I was very stressed. I got shingles, which is a virus. I sat down after my speech and I thought, ooh, what's this green, this lump on the back of my neck? It's sore. It was a lymph node. And then I proceeded to develop the shingles rash. So those stress hormones were coursing through my veins, and they allowed that virus, which is, shingles is the same as chickenpox. So the chickenpox virus was in my cells. It broke free out of jail and had a party in my body. You can see how powerful stress can be. I'll go as far as to say that reducing your stress is the most important thing you can do right now. Whatever it is you need to do to reduce your stress. Maybe you need to exercise. Maybe you need to pray. Maybe you need to laugh. Or maybe you need to turn off the news. If you are somebody that is very stressed and worried about this, don't watch the news. It's not good for you. Two things that you can do. There are plenty of other things, and I wish I had more time to talk about them, but these are two really powerful things that you can do to protect yourself right now. Our goal is to reduce the inflammation in your body. Eliminate sugar and processed foods and reduce your stress. My words to you are, you are not powerless. Don't be fearful and anxious. I care about you, and your kinship cares about you, and your friends care about you. We need less people who are becoming victims now, and more people who are willing to take the steps to take care of themselves. Thank you. Madame Toastmaster.